We just passed the 6-week mark since those tragic and horrible quadruple stabbing murders at the University of Idaho in Moscow, Idaho. Obviously, the 4 victims, students at the University of Idaho, and as of yet, no suspect or suspects and no motive and no murder weapon as well. We're also trying to learn new details as they slowly trickle in. Here's a new detail that we're learning just within the last hour or so here on Live Now from Fox. This from our Fox News digital reporters there on the scene. An update, Chief Fry is floating the idea that the 911 call could be made public. This from our Fox team on the ground in Moscow, floating the potential release of the 911 call. Authorities may be warming up to the idea of releasing that call of the unsolved slayings of the 4 University of Idaho students. Moscow police, James Fry, floated the possibility of making the reporting public in an interview with a local TV station on a Tuesday. Of course, this is just past the 6-week mark here as we're following this ongoing story here on Live Now from Fox. Saying, "I think it'll be released when the prosecution believes that we can release it," Fry said of the call, which police have so far said little about other than it was placed from a surviving roommate's phone and that multiple people spoke with the dispatcher that may be at trial. Fry told a Spokane-based TV station in an interview that may be before then. He declined whether to say anything specific on the call that could help detectives make an arrest. Obviously, police have said that just before noon on November 13th, someone called 911 to report an, quote, unconscious person in the King Road house. Officers arrived to find Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, both 21, along with Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin, both 20, dead on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the house. The county coroner later said they all suffered multiple stab wounds. The other 2 housemates whose rooms were on the bottom level were not attacked, according to authorities. Fry came under fire earlier in the investigation after assuring the public that there was no, quote, ongoing threat after an unknown assailant went off into an on-campus rental house and fatally stabbed those 4 likely sleeping students, then escaped without a trace. Fry said the number of tips coming in has surpassed 17,000 as the case nears its 7th week without a suspect. Mogen and Goncalves spent part of the evening in downtown Moscow at the Corner Club bar and were seen ordering snacks at a food truck before they caught a ride home around 2 a.m. Kernodle and Chapin were at a party about 200 yards away from a fraternity house, who the latter was a member of, and returned around 1:45, according to police. Police have released very few details after announcing the December 7th that they were looking for a white Hyundai Elantra between 2011 and 2013, which they believed was near the crime scene around the time of the slayings. However, they avoided answering questions about whether they have photographs placing the vehicle at the scene and have released only stock images as they asked the public for help tracking down the driver and potential passengers. Records obtained by Fox News Digital shows that there were 90 similar cars registered to park on campus, but police have said they were working their way through a list of 22,000. Of course, the big news on this Wednesday, though, coming from Chief Fry, floating the idea that the 911 call made the morning after these tragic murders could be made public. Of course, that coming from one of the surviving roommates, and multiple voices were on the call. Of course, those 4 University of Idaho students tragically killed between 3 and 4 in the morning. This according to police. So something we're continuing to follow very closely here on Live Now from Fox, as stretching into a month and a half after these tragic murders there on November the 13th.